Hey everybody, what's up? Yo, I'm bringing you today my recommendations for building a sweet shapeshifter deck. And I've seen this combo. It's out right now. It's from the Outlaws of Thunder Junction, and you've probably seen a lot of content creators making it, and it is very good, of course. What I'm talking about is the Outcaster Trailblazer and the Fusuvian Duplimancy. It's basically kind of benefits from having an abundance of spells that target a single target and a creature. So for instance, this Outcaster Trailblazer is a 4/2, and it is a very special creature. And I kind of want to say a little bit about this card because I'm a big believer, and I think it's like only like $1.50 on the web right now, but I'm kind of getting like Fable of the Mirror Breaker vibes from this card. I think it's like outstanding, like maybe like a good format all-star, like multi-format all-star. And why I say that is because it offers so much card advantage. It's like almost disgusting. So, for instance, you get this 4/2 body. It enters the battlefield. When it does so, you add a mana to any color to your mana pool immediately just by entering the battlefield. And then additionally, whenever another creature with power 4 or greater enters the battlefield under your control, you draw a card. So what's nice about this one is you can go ahead and plot it. And then when you're ready for one of your 4 power creatures, you could basically even ramp with it too. So you can like basically get ahead on a creature, and also if that creature has power 4 or greater, you draw a card. So it's just really excellent. So let me kind of demonstrate like why I think this card could be good in like multiple formats. So let's just, for instance, take a card like a Glasspool Mimic. And what this does, it kind of like shores up kind of maybe those interactions that you're looking for. Like, for instance, in Standard, you're just looking for this card, right? Like a Vesuvian Duplimancy. You're kind of like, you're like digging for it. I need to find the Vesuvian Duplimancy so that when I find it and I find this creature as well, I can start copying this over by targeting this card. Basically, you can create kind of a loop because you're going to start amassing a ton of cards because these will see each other. The clones will see each other. You'll keep accruing that single mana, and you'll be drawing those single target spells that only cost 1. So you just target this over and over. You'll be drawing like exponential cards, right? Each time you go through that. So, but you're looking for these 2 cards in conjunction with your spells. But like with a card like Glasspool Mimic, you're going to go ahead and it gives you like another option, and you can go ahead and copy the Outcaster. And once again, it's just they're going to see each other. This card, the copy is going to see this thing. And then once again, you can kind of start demonstrating that card advantage by playing card. You'll have basically 2 copies of this now, and then you'll be drawing cards based on the creatures that you're casting. So you're just getting ahead with cards like each time you do this. So it's just a phenomenal card. Yeah, and I'm very excited. I'm very excited about like, showing this card off and kind of like my ideas for, how to go about like a shapeshifter deck. So originally, I really thought that like you could probably get by with like a Vesuvian Duplimancy, and you would basically just be able to play an abundance of single target spells, and this would be sufficient because some of the other spell shifters they're not able to copy non-legendaries, right? Like for instance, like a Glasspool Mimic, this can't copy like your commander. Basically, it would legend rule itself out. So for a while there, I was like, kind of anti-putting more shapeshifters in my commander deck, especially the one that, this was built for is the Aragorn deck, right? But over time, I was like, you know what, though? Like, what you can do to get around this kind of, this criteria is you could play, like, for instance, like a shape Spark Double. And what's nice about the Spark Double is that the copy it makes isn't considered legendary, which is great. So then if you, for instance, copy your commander, then you can go ahead and copy it again, with like a glass, you could copy the Spark Double with a Glass Pool Mimic, and you can kind of keep that chain and get that benefits of having multiple commanders on the battlefield and kind of getting through that legend rule. There's an abundance of shapeshifters that do this actually, which is kind of amazing, right? For instance, you have Shakashima the Imposter and Sakashima of 1,000 Faces, and these are great, right? So these just copy your commander, and they don't legend rule them. In fact, this one, the Sakashima itself, the legend rule, the verbiage is the legend rule doesn't apply to permanents at all we control. So it like gets over that, like, you know, like just absolutely gets by it. So that just applies to everything. Whereas this will just be to the creature that you copied. It would not be considered legendary, just be considered Shakashima the Imposter. So we have like those really good kind of things, these shapeshifters that get around that, right? And that will free up our, you know, cards such as this, like our Glass Pool Mimic and our Phyrexian Metamorph, where they can just copy our shapeshifters that copied our commander freely. So that was that's a nice interaction there. Additionally, what's nice about this like Phyrexian Metamorph and like a Clever Imposter is they can copy like most permanents on the battlefield. Like for instance, the Metamorph can copy any artifact or creature on the battlefield. So that's nice. So if one of our plans doesn't work out, we can, you know, try another optimal plan. Additionally, the Clever Imposter can just copy any permanent on the battlefield. It's fantastic. It's just amazing, man. These are great shapeshifters, and especially when you have like these support cards, I'm telling you, like this card can keep up like with anything. Like Planeswalker, Gandalfs, like you're going to be drawing so many more cards of them, it's going to make their head spin. And then you're just going to be putting power on the battlefield, and you're going to be slamming in. Like I can't tell you how good this is. Like just imagine the sequence of like going into an Outcaster Trailblazer into like a Glass Pool Mimic, and then you're going to go ahead and you're going to slam down your Aragorn, and you're just going to just be drawing a crap load of cards. Like not only are you just drawing cards from, you know, playing other creatures, like you're just going to be kind of cascading that because you're going to have these additional triggers like each time. So kind of a nuts card, really, to be honest. So we're going to be providing some support to like mostly the Vesuvian Duplimency, of course. We do love that card. So that one's is definitely a nice one. We're definitely going to be working on like targeting spells. I did have an idea for there's a 2/1 flying. I think it's called Storm Chaser Drake. I don't have that card right now, so I'm just going to put in the 4th Aerolingo Sun right now. But of course, that works off targeting too. It's just like more gas. So I think that will probably be the card to go with. But in terms of the Vesuvian Duplimency in general, like we have a card like Croaking Counterpart, which is kind of like a double whammy, where not only is a single target makes a copy that's a 1/1, you get all those abilities, right, of that original creature. Just the fact that it targets will create the copy again of the creature, the original creature, and with its original stats and so forth. So you basically get like two shapeshifters for the price of one, and that has flashback too, so you get some nice value. Now we're going to get into some newer cards that are from the newer set. For instance, like a 3 Steps Ahead. This could act as a counter spell. This card can draw you some cards as well, which is nice. Additionally, this could also create a token that's a copy of a target artifact or creature we control. So we have all those modes. We can make copies. We can do that, you know, target a creature and make a copy of it itself. It's just fantastic. It's just crazy. This is a new one too, Trash a Town. More often than not, I'm just going to be paying an additional 1 and, you know, connecting with combat damage and drawing like 2 cards. It's great. I like it. I like it for green. I like that it like kind of pumps up Aragorn too and pumps up our squad for green. So that's a nice one. This is just a nice protection spell. It could also be like used as sneaky ramp with like a Selvala, where we could just tap and untap and create like an abundance of mana at the same time. So that's a nice one, of course. Also, it can't interact. It has the Split Second, which is a nice mode as well. Okay, so there's a charge through, just green, and then the card draw. That's kind of our emphasis, right, is to have that card draw built into our single target spells. So that's a nice interaction for us. Here's Angel Fire Ignition, which is just a nice flashback spells. It'll activate a couple modes of Aragorn and get those 1/1 counters. Again, these are just spells that have single target. They just single target our creatures. Very good with our Vesuvian Duplimency. Okay, all right, so here we go. Crimson Wisps, so this is a nice one as well. This one just, once again, target creature becomes red, gains haste until end of turn, you draw. Expedite, once again, target creature gains haste until end of turn, draw a card. These are all instant speed. Lightning Bolt can also target as well. It could target our creatures. It could act as removal, whatever we need it for. It's nice. Ephemerate, this is the one where exile target creature control, then return it to the battlefield under its owner's control, and then you get the rebound. Additionally, we have Double Major. This is the one that will copy like a castable creature that we did. We cast it, and then we go ahead and use Double Major, and that creature will come. Additional copy will come down as a copy of that creature, but it's not considered legendary. So that's another kind of thing we're going with our dynamic. Additionally, we have a Galvanic Iteration here. This will just copy all of our spells, which is a nice one. Also has flashback, which is good. Copy our instants and sorceries. Here's Metamorphose. So that's just a nice one. It keeps the chain going, kind of keeps other things getting stronger with the green mana. Activates Aragorn, gets us the mana pool, can fix us mana, and then we draw a card, so it just keeps rolling. Dovin's Veto, just a nice multicolored spell, right? And yeah, that can't be countered. It's a nice one. This one is for Growth Spiral. It is just a nice ramp spell, right? Very good. Can we play it at instant speed? And once again, multicolored spells are good for us, and there's a lot of support for it. And when we get into the creatures, it'll kind of become a little bit more clear. Our enchantments are kind of, catered to the single target emphasis, and I'll kind of get into that. So we'll see that interaction as well. Mana Drain, just a fantastic counter spell, of course. Swan Song is another counter spell, nice cheap counter spell to play. A little bit of removal with swords, and then another nice removal spell in Ancient Grudge, where we can kind of really proc Aragorn with that and kind of get some spells going off and really be a nuisance to some nice artifacts on the battlefield. Okay, so kind of we talked about we're going to be targeting some things, right? So a Season of Growth is fantastic. It's just it's just a great slot in. So that's a good one. Whenever you cast a spell that targets a creature you control, draw a card. Very similar to the Storm Chaser Greg. And I feel like that card is just probably essential for this deck. I'm going to go and test it out, of course. I think I have my ramp foundations set in place. A Fourth Year Lingus will draw cards too. But will it draw as many cards as a Storm Chaser Drake? I'm not sure. I don't think so. So yeah, it's an uncommon. I just don't have it. I just have to acquire it. So that's unfortunate, but that's a great card. So yeah, there's our synergy for targeting. Additionally, here's just another great target spell for all you Aragorn fans, and that's Curiosity. And is this focused? Don't know. I suppose so. Just checking, guys. And it's a new camera, so I'm just kind of still figuring it out. Just want to see how I zoom or not. Okay, I guess so. Maybe it's just the lighting is kind of weird. Anyways, hopefully it looks decent. It's probably just the lighting is a little funky. Okay. All right, so I'll just move it up like that. Thanks for sticking with me if you did. So yeah, Curiosity is just a fantastic Aragorn card. This is great because it deals with damage only, not just combat damage. So when you're playing red spells and this is attached to Aragorn, you're just drawing a card for each time you play a red spell in general. So it's just a stupid amount of value. Additionally, you have your enchantments, your fantastic multicolored enchantments like Mirari's Wake, Whirlwind of Thought. That's just working with all our single target spells, just abundance of them. We're just drawing tons of cards. Fable of the Mirror Breaker. There's the Fourth Year Lingus that I mentioned. Escape to the Wild, just so much gasoline. We just need all those cards. Rishgar's Expertise, just these huge Aragorn payoffs when we're making Aragorn 9 power and just drawing a ton of cards. It happens all the time. So Rishgar's Last March, Great Henge, there we go. Okay, and then additionally we have all of our sweet creatures. So from starting at the top, we have The birds, just kind of like our nice ramp here. These are all just grade A, just like your nice 4-colored packages or, 5-color package. So yeah, these are all very nice. Ragavan, of course, is good. Skrelv for protection. Then you have your ramp package here, more ramp. Just as like Catilda is just very strong with Aragorn, because Aragorn makes 1/1 human tokens, so you just get like more and more ramp based on the white spells you play. Elysian Caryatid. This is just very hard to deal with, like all this like very good ramp. It just gets you so far ahead. Green is very good at doing all that stuff. Ivy Gleeful is spell thief. This will, when we're targeting something else, then it will target Ivy too, a copy of that. So it's just like really good. Like for instance, like a Curiosity on like our Storm Chaser Drake or another creature that's going in, it will then copy the Ivy Gleeful spell, thief that spell, and it'll act like as we casted 2 spells, but we only casted 1. Feather is also very good because this one will just, at our end step, will return exile or instants and sorceries that we have cast. So that targets our creatures that we control. So all those spells that target a creature we control, they just get returned to our hand at the end of the end step, which is nice. Here's the Fable Elder. Once again, just like sweet multicolored ramp. Dryad to fix our mana and let us play additional lands on a turn. Mavinda to get the really nice card where we can return play instants and sorceries we can do it once a turn by casting, paying into 0. And then as long as that spell targets one of our creatures, we can just cast it regularly once a turn. So you just get like maximum amount of value. It's exiled at the end of that. So it's basically use it once, goes to the graveyard, have Mavinda out. You can activate this ability, target a creature you control by paying that same mana cost that it originally has, and then it goes into exile. So it's like a 2-for-1. Additionally, this is a new one. So we got like lots of nice new cards here. So this is Lila, the Undefeated Slickshot, and this one is really cool. It's got a very reasonable mana cost here for kind of the stats. It's not a weakling, it's like a 3/3. Additionally has prowess, which is really interesting. Really not a bad card at all in general. Whenever you cast a multicolored instant or sorcery spell from your hand, exile that spell instead of putting it into your graveyard as a result. If you do, it becomes plotted. I've seen this mostly done with like those cards that like have like 2 different cards like built into a card, and then once you plot it, you can pay that higher costed spell. So very good commander. Like you could definitely build around this. We have lots of multicolored instants and sorceries in here, like even counter spells. So it's really kind of a nasty one where we can like plot things and like have it for later. Oof, it's really nasty one there. And then Selvala for just making an extraordinary amount of mana with high-powered creatures that Aragorn does with the +4/+4, so just really good. Here's Veyran to copy all of our, activated triggers we have, which we're going to have quite a bit of. I'm very excited. It's like basically like a walking throne, right? For our instants and sorceries. So let's go. So if you casting or copying an instant or sorcery spell causes a triggered ability of a permanent controlled trigger, that ability triggers an additional time. It's fantastic. And you get the Aragorn procs, and then it grows. It's just stupid. What a cool deck. And then you have Uro here, and this is just another sweet multicolor card. Just probably goes into like all your Aragorn decks, or like, even any, it's like a staple, right? In like these Simic colors for landfall, for all those things. It just accomplishes so much. It gains you some life. It draws you cards. You can play it again for a bigger body and continue those enter the battlefield triggers. And, it's just a ton of value on a card, right? And then you have Narset Enlightened Exile. This one's a really sneaky one, right? We're going to be drawing an abundance of cards here, with like our Rishkar's expertise and Last March of the Ants. We might like discard the hand size, get some nasty stuff in our graveyard, pump this up on a later combat, get that value from the graveyard. It's just like the possibilities are endless. So that's pretty much the juice right there. That's all the good stuff. Additionally, kind of we're just rocking in with like our channel lands here and our multi-phase cards.
So all in all, just like, oh, we got like we got like the nice value here, the Balaged, Sajiri Shelter, Plaza, and we have like our triomes, and then mostly I just filled this in with like fetch lands, shock lands, and then just like some other duels and stuff. I had maybe a couple sweet Kamigawa basics just for fun. But yeah, that's the deck. That is it, guys. So I thank you for sticking with me, and I have some exciting news. I'm going. I just purchased an iMac M3. So I will be coming and bringing you guys some real face-to-face content soon. I'm very excited. We're gonna jam. We're gonna do stuff. We're just gonna have fun. We're gonna have fun with a new set. We're just gonna kind of explore Magic together. And I think the best medium to do that is with Brawl. So we're just gonna roll, man. We're just gonna have fun. We're gonna be competitive. We're gonna be competitive on the Brawl. We're gonna, we might get salty sometimes. It's fine. It's fine. That's what happens, man. But we're gonna be building decks. We're gonna be rebuilding decks, revisiting decks. It's gonna be fantastic, and we're gonna do it together. So that's it, man. And I'm looking forward to the summer. So I'll see y'all soon. Bye.